Rachel Ejsmont. Rachel has been an outspoken and active animal rights advocate for about 30 years. Rachel has gone undercover in slaughterhouses and testified at a high-profile animal abuse case that resulted in an abuser receiving a 4-year sentence. She is currently focusing on having people give up their fur trim. Welcome, Rachel.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me, Rosa. It's an honor to stand up here. A little nervous, but I'll try to be as brief as possible and on point. So, one of the main reasons, briefly, why I became an anti-fur activist. At a very young age, I used to be in charge of handling fur coats or coats from many of my parents' lavish parties. They'd have guests and they'd hand over these fur coats to me. I was disgusted way back then. Into my adult life, I realized in Canada, living in Montreal, Canada, fur was everywhere. Couldn't walk across the street or one block without seeing at least 10 fur coats. And I kept on making the connection with my own animals and my cat, and I was just completely disgusted. So with the seal hunts in Montreal, in Canada, the horrific seal hunts, the fur trade, which originated from Canada, and all these horrific abuse just to turn an animal into a fur pelt. I felt compelled to speak up for them. So one of the most horrific ways of torturing an animal for fur is called caracul. I don't know if you're familiar with this practice, but it's one of the most heartless and grotesque ways to steal the hides of unborn Persian lambs. Unborn fetuses are often murdered 15 days before the mother is due to give birth. In this sick and twisted practice, there is not one, but there are 2 victims slaughtered every time to obtain one small pelt the size of a 5-pound dog. The mother will be hoisted, have her feet hacked off, and sacrificed as well as her unborn child. And as soon as the baby stops kicking, he or she will be gutted out of the womb, piercing the amniotic bag, the baby then hitting the concrete floor. The premature fetus will then be immediately skinned for its special kind of curl, which is in many countries, in Afghanistan and Asia, considered one of the most noble fashion apparel to wear. Social status, social symbol. The premature fetus will then, So in this there are, it can take up to 30 of their small bodies to make one coat. So 60 victims in all it takes to make up one fur coat, just to be worn as a fashion and status statement. So the victims is, like I said, there's not just one victim, the mother is also killed as well in the process. So yes, that was another reason why I wanted to speak up for animals, fur-bearing animals. Often what I do nowadays is I approach fur wearers in the street because I feel compelled to ask them why. Why do you need to wear fur? So one of the many reasons I ask is I'll tell them, I said, do you know that you're wearing real fur? I'll approach them nicely at the beginning. I have usually information and pamphlets, flyers with plenty of information. And I'll ask them, do you know you're wearing real fur? Some people don't know. Some people, you have to explain to them that there's a difference. So another one is I'll say, you're way too pretty to wear such cruelty. Do you really feel like you need to wear another animal's skin to make yourself look pretty? Do you value vanity over the life of an animal? And why? What makes you so special? That's when I start to get a little bit more aggressive. Now in the past, I've watched myself in videos and I can't say that I'm always proud of the way I approach fur wearers. And I've noticed that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I've kind of brought it down a few notches. And I try to approach them as nicely as possible and try to bite my tongue because I need to get through to them. I feel the need to get through to them. I want to get that fur off their backs. I want to get that fur off the street. So briefly again, I tell them, you know, they'll ask me, well, what about this small fur trim? It's just a small fur trim. And I'll tell them, well, that fur trim came at a very high price to those animals. Little do they know that even for Canada Goose, they kill one dog for one fur trim. One wild dog for one fur trim. Again, I'll say, you know, we live in the 21st century. Why do we remain complicit in the killing of animals for fashion when there are so many iconic designers that have denounced fur in their collections? So please note that there are several ways that I approach a person wearing real fur. The results are never guaranteed, they're never the same. Anybody who tells me that they're same, you know, if you're consistent with your same approach, is not out there on the streets confronting these animal abusers. So, you know, they'll ask me again, what can I do? And I'll tell them, you know, I can assure you that I will donate their fur trims to an orphan animal sanctuary that they could use for bedding and comfort. So the fur goes back to the animals, the original, the ones who, you know, the fur belongs to. I'd like also to talk about the leopard, the real leopard coat that was donated to me. One of my clients, her mother, had this real leopard coat back in the 80s. And after seeing a lot of my posts on Facebook and on social media, her mother was confronted by her daughter, and immediately she wanted to give it up. She never wanted to have any part of this cruelty anymore. So there it is right there, it's real. And the one next to it is a real long mink coat, or about 300 animals were killed for that coat. I try to be as positive as possible, but in reality, the torture I see these animals go through, I've seen the videos, we've all seen the videos. It's just so heartbreaking, and it's etched in my brain. So even though, as painful as it is to me, it's not about me, it's about the animals. So, and like I said, any chance and any opportunity you have to speak to someone that's wearing fur, please, please, I beg you, speak up for the animals. Even if your voice shakes, even if you think that you're going to be rejected, doesn't matter, you never know. In the last 2 years, I've had over 50 fur trims and coats donated to me. And of course, they're returned, you know, they're donated, whether it's for Coats for Cubs, Born Free USA, I believe that's here today. Thank you for being here. And again, just, you know, don't listen to anybody, just say what you need to say, try to be on point, have some facts, have some information handy, always. Always have a card, always have a flyer that you can show them. Like, look, it's not just me, I'm not trying to attack you, I'm not trying to be aggressive towards you. I just really want you to see what you're wearing. Try to make the connection. Thank you very much.